Hey, it's Lisa here from St. Clair's Academy. I wanted to talk about spraying today because it can be a common challenge in people's homes with cats. So, if you've got an unneutered male, that can be a real reason why a cat is spraying all over the furniture or on walls. So, speaking to your vet about options about this is important. Spraying outside is a behaviour that we don't tend to mind, and it's a behaviour that a lot of cats do. Often it's based in insecurity, providing that there's no medical conditions that could be contributing to it. That's why it's always imperative to work with someone who works on vet referral. But it happens a lot in houses where there's more than one cat and there's competition over resources. So a cat is spraying to leave their mark on the item to make it smell more familiar. It can often happen when a cat is frustrated, so meal times, if they're waiting. One way to combat this is to have little pots of food readily prepared, so you're not having to weigh it out while your cats are kind of waiting and, wandering around and thinking, oh, I want my food, I want my food. So that can combat that. Also, eating in private's really key. So just like us, well, opposite to us actually, a lot of people tend to enjoy going out for meals and they'll have, wine, and dining is a very social occasion in our human world. And cats, it's not. In the wild, they would have hunted up to about 20 times a day. Not every catch would have been successful. But when they did catch a mouse, that would have been a very private dining affair, not like what we tend to do with cats, where we put their bowls next to each other and then they're eating. Also, if a cat's eating very quickly because they're worried that the other cat's going to, grab hold of their food, they can put on weight more quickly if they're eating in that sympathetic state rather than parasympathetic nervous system. So kind of rest and digest and being able to eat calmly and relax. They used to talk about parasympathetic nervous system a lot in yoga and things. So that's the other thing. Also, having lots of resources for the cats. One each plus one is the general rule of thumb. Not having litter trays lined up to each other, next to each other. Thinking about sunny spots, making sure we've got summer here, well, it's a bit grey today, lots of sunny spots for them to relax in, and that perception that they've got multiple resources. So if they like being on the bed, then having lots of beds for them to relax on, individually, so that sense of concealment. So there are a few things in terms of spraying. It is really hard, but what we definitely don't want to do is, tell our cats off. They won't know why you're telling them off, for one thing, and they're not doing it to spite us or upset us. Of course, it does upset us, but they're not doing it for that reason. They're feeling insecure, and if you're feeling insecure and anxious and worried, the last thing you're going to want is someone, shouting at you, and that can really affect the bond that you have with your cat. So yeah, they're my top considerations for spraying. Thanks. Take care. See you soon.